Welcome friends, good morning. I'm Ravi Singh and welcome to the second part of our tutorial series. So in first part we had designed the screens for to-do applications, and we had that we had also implemented that scroll view, horizontal scrolling dates, and then we had some dummy data to show. But um, today, to move ahead, it is very required that we need to implement a user login system. So for that we will be using Firebase. So if you don't know about the Firebase is made by Google, and it is a part of their GCP infrastructure. So the main benefit of using Firebase is that it is highly scalable. It provides real-time data, and you don't have to monitor and you don't have to worry about the scaling, because it auto scales. And it also provides real-time data. So there are two type of databases that we can use. One is the real-time DB, that is what they say, and second one is the Firestore, which is an extension of their data store. So we'll be using Firestore in our case, and uh, and we will be using the email and password based authentication. So let's get started. So if you have missed the first part of the tutorial series, I would recommend you to first go and watch those tutorials. I have provided the link in the description below, and you might see also that instruction coming somewhere up there or there. So first go and watch that part so that you can feel comfortable continuing this part. So our first step would be to go to the console.firebase.google.com, and if you have an email with Google, which is Gmail, so you should already have this with you, so you don't have to create another account for that. But what I will need to do, that when we reach there, we have to add a project. So I have already added one, but just to demonstrate how you can do that, you can simply click on this add project, and then you can name your project something like to do tutorial, and then you can continue. Okay. So it is when it is ready. What I need to do, you might see a different screen over here. It might be something like this, but you just have to click on the develop and you can see all these things coming. So what we need as of now is this project setting. Okay, and then it says there is no apps in your project. So for now we just need the web setup. Let's say to tutorial. I don't need any hosting, so you can just go and check it around. This is a free account, so it won't charge you anything. I'll just need to copy this thing, and I'll keep it for my another reference. Otherwise you can get these configuration even later on, but it is good way to good thing to save it. Okay, so this is created. Now what I need to do next is I need to authentication. I need to get the authentication service on. So for our this project, I have to set the sign up method, and I will be enabling this email and password and save it. Okay, now the email and password has been started. We can come to database later, but let's set it up as well. So we don't have to go back and okay, taking time. Okay, okay, there are some instructions if you want to have a quick look. If you're a first time user, you should definitely check these intros and these things out so that it can give you a better idea. So I would say it in test mode. I'll say done. I'm putting it in test mode because also that you don't have to worry about the setups. Okay, and you can always visit these sections later when you are ready to move with production. So for the development, so this is our database. So what you can see over here that we are using Cloud Firestore. As I have mentioned that there are two type of databases. One is real time, and then there is a Cloud Firestore. I chose Cloud Firestore because you can search in it, and it is as real time as other real time databases. So this is why I'm choosing the Cloud Firestore. Okay, so once you're done with all the setup, you have all your keys ready with you, then we can go. Okay, so this is everything from our previous tutorial. So now, so this is very good of Expo. Okay, so this is what we were left with in our part one. So when we tap on the get start, so the thing is that the data is static. So what we need to do is we have to make it functional, but before we do that, what we need to do that people should not be able to visit this to do directly. Okay, so first they need to go with a login system. So this is where the Firebase comes in to the picture. Okay, so I will start with that in a moment. Okay, so this is the screen which is responsible for giving us this. So welcome and then to do. So we want to restrict this to do over here. So in a constant, we first need to create Firebase config.js, and so if you remember, we had a Firebase setup thing. So I'll go in project setting, and yes, this is the thing. Okay, so that's all we need. Okay, another thing we are going to need is basically one thing, that is the Firebase. So I'll say over here explore install Firebase. Okay, so let me go to our app, and then okay, this is not something that we require. I'm going to import Firebase from Firebase, and then what we have to do is basically initialize this one. we have to get the Firebase config. So here we can get it. Port statement, go to constraints, Firebase config. Okay, so I have imported the config. Now next thing is to initialize the app. Yeah. So you can do it right here. After all the imports, that is the good place to do. Let's move from there to here. Now Firebase dot initialize app, and we'll put Firebase config in there. Okay, so now the config has been initialized. So to check whether we have the authentication or not, there is a function in that auth. On auth state change. So this is basically this particular function run every time when user logs in or gets log out. So it gives us the user, and we are using factor operator. So we are going to check if we have a user. If user, then we know that this user has been authenticated. Otherwise we know this user is not authenticated. So for that we are going to say that is logged in state and set logged in function React. So it is going to be a boolean false. So first time this particular state is logged in is false, and then when we find that there is a user, what we can do, we can set user. So and we are also going to set true, otherwise just opposite of it, which is we'll be setting user to nothing or null, and just logged in, which is false. So now what we can present with them is basically a screen. Okay, so let us separate the screens. So I'm going to say a new folder over here in screen, and that I'm going to say auth related screens are going to be over here. So I have already created few screens. Okay, yeah, so what we need basically is an auth. Okay, we are not going to do these much, just to make things simple. What we need to create is a login screen where user can log in, and loading screen where we can decide whether the user is logged in or not, and sign up screen. So if user is not logged in, we can provide them with a sign up screen. So go ahead and create. So first we are going to create a new file, which is login screen.js. Then text. This is the screen. I'm going to bring that text from. Okay, come on. Okay, so if it is not logged in, component is going to be on screen. Okay, so what it's saying, cannot find variable. Normally my VS Code is by default, but anyway, so let's import login screen from dot screen slash authn login screen. Okay, so as the user is not logged in, so this particular page is doing its job. Let's keep things up. Okay, so this is how the Firebase has been initialized, and then here, and then we are having two states. So this state is very important, which is doing this job, and so it is using React use state hook. So whenever this particular function is checking whether the auth is ready or not, so in that case, because we are not logged in, so this is going to be undefined. So in that case we are this is going to be undefined, so in that case it is going to fall in with this part of the code. Okay, and where is logged in is false basically. So in that case, if user is not logged in here, so you can see a ternary operator over here. So if user is not logged in, we are going to present them with the screen which is login, and we'll come to it later. Okay, so now you can see this ugly looking login screen, so we are going to improve this. So I'm going to copy the code from this login screen. It has pretty much everything that we need. I think more than that, so we will be cleaning up the code just to fast forward the process. Okay, so we already know this is React. We are getting component from that. So in previous example where we had seen that we were using hooks, basically in our so React Native elements, we are getting these things from React Native elements. I think we have all these things. Computer sign in, we don't need that. Constant Firebase config, we don't need it. Colors we already have. Yes, cool. We don't need it. So all these codes are basically when you need the native uh, Google sign-in using your email, but as we are using very simple authentication for the sake of simplicity, so we will be using only this functionality. So we'll be signing in with email and password. I'm not going to use component did mount. Okay, so routing is false, card. Okay, so let's see what went wrong. Colors, don't we have the colors? Constant colors, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, different. Constants, colors. Okay, so that should fix. So this is the screen. So that code basically won't let me remove. Okay, look at this from here. Okay, so you can see this is working. So we have few styles in it. Says login over here. No, this is this part. Constant colors. Where is that? Same couple. Screen constant slash color. Work. So let us go to the sign up screen. Yeah, it does work. So now let me briefly explain you what the sign up screen is doing. So if you see, there is only one function, that is create user with email and password. Okay, and then we are having a function. We have also imported the Firebase from here. Okay, state loading is false, we don't have any user as of now, email is blank, password is blank. So basically these two variables we will be using to set user email when user types in over here user and password, and then let's get rid of this unwanted codes. Okay, so this is just one function which is doing all the magic. Okay, these are just the design part of it. So if the state is loading, you will see that there will be an activity indicator. Let me see it. So let's see this. So this is what the loading activity indicator looks like. So let it be false for now. Okay, and then I have taken the input from React Native elements. Yeah, so what it does, if you see this icon, email and password thing like that, it has been taken over here. So you can definitely go into their documentation and you can see that how can you modify these inputs as per your requirement. But only one thing over here, that is that when the text is changing, so on change text, so when we enter something over here, what it does basically, it takes that change and then it sets the state of email to that particular text. Okay, and same thing happens when you are setting in the password, and you also see that secure text entry that is set to true. So when you set it to true, uh, it won't show up and it is going to show something like a star. So this is what the secure text entry to true does. Okay, then there is a final submit button, which is this sign up. So if we click on this sign up, so when you click on this, what it is going to do, it is going to call that create user with email and password function up there. Okay, and then this is disabled because this particular code is there. So what it does, that if the set the email and password of the state is not set, it is being disabled. Okay, loading is false, so you don't see any loading over here. If I make it true, anyway, because this is a static value, so even if it is loading, you won't be able to see it. Anyway, we can definitely improve on these. Okay, so when user presses on this particular button, it is going to call this create user with email and password. Okay, and as we know, this this is going to enable only when we have email and password in our state. So when this button gets clicked, this is what it does, that we are going to extract out that email and password from the state. And then Firebase is having a function which is auth, and then we can create a user with email. It takes two arguments, which is email and password, and then when it is success, it is going to return you the response, otherwise it is going to throw some error. So error could be that your email, if it is already exists, that these are the error that you can see. Let me not throw this here. Okay, cool. So this is it, and then we have the final button over here, that if you have already an account, you can simply click on this login button, which is here. So you see, already have an account, you can log in from here. So all these icons and everything is coming from this awesome button element from the React Native element. Okay, title is login. On press, we are simply navigating back to the login screen. So when you press on this, you are back to this login screen, and if you don't have the account, which is in our case I don't have, so I can definitely go back to sign up, and then I can create my account. So let me create one. Let me set a password. Okay, I'll use the old password. Then sign up. Cool. So now you see, when I have signed up, now it has taken me to this particular screen. This is because of this over here, because now I'm logged in. So when you do a sign up, it basically gets you logged in. So and then we have this welcome screen and this screen. If I go to the get started, so because I am logged in, that's why I am able to see this screen, otherwise I would have been still seeing these screens. Okay, so this is the conditional rendering over here. So if but anyway, the first part has been achieved. So if I click this, now I'm able to come over here. I can definitely go back, but let me give you that if give you an idea that if it is or if our authentication is working or not. So what I can do, I can use this welcome screen, and then I can welcome the user over here. So let's do that now. Okay, so we definitely have the user, that's why we are having this welcome screen. Now let me go back to that welcome screen where it says so what we are going to do in this welcome screen, I'm going to put the user's email over here. So welcome something like my email, and then so we can very well see that this is the email that I have been logged in from. The styling I will look later on, because I don't want this video to be unnecessarily very big. So we can definitely go around this. So now if the user has been logged in, so let us give us a logout button. Okay, so here is a button. Okay, right then stop 12, which looks okay. Send button background color. Okay, so let's implement this. So on press, what we are going to do, so let me see, Firebase is already here. So when the user is pressing the logout, can use Firebase auth. Sign out functionality. So let's see if this works. Cool. So let me log in with another account which doesn't have yet. So there is no user record. Maybe I should log in. Let me log in with my already logged in account. It says already exists. Okay, so let's go. That's all. So in our next tutorial we will be implementing the to-do that every user is going to have their own to-do, and we are going to make that functional, because we have implemented our Firebase authentication. So once we are done with the Firebase authentication, we are as well having the privilege of using our Firestore database. So in our next tutorial we will be setting up those, and if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please do subscribe, and also press the bell icon, so whenever I'm going to upload, I will upload the video, you will have the notification and you can watch them as early. So happy coding. Thank you for watching. Thanks. Ravi.